Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Line Plans. So today, in today's video, we're going to be going over my Techo Kaigi mid-year check-in, and I thought that this would be an interesting one to do because it really forces us to kind of reflect and see how the entire system that we set up at the beginning of the year, how is that really going? And then what are the changes that we're going to be making moving forward for the remainder of the year? So without further ado, why don't we just get started? And of course, if you've never met me, my name is Meshi and I'm the person behind the Line Plans. We talk a couple of times a week on this channel. Anything, everything, minimalist planning, journaling, stationery, fountain pens, all the things. So if you love all of those things, then you would probably really enjoy it being here, and consider subscribing if you have not yet already. All right, so I have like a full stack in front of me, obviously, and I found that this video is very timely because so many companies are kind of putting out their 2024 releases early. Not early, like this is usually when they kind of start planting the seed, which also forces most of us within the planning community to kind of take a look at what's working and then how we kind of want to move forward and what we're going to be investing our money in for the new year. So I do have a couple of things in front of me, and I wanted to kind of show you what is staying, what is really likely not stick around for next year, and what is something that is new that I kind of incorporated recently that seems to be doing a really good job. So let's start with what is really working. So I do have my Hobonichi weeks in front of me. I have my VDS planner in personal size in a 6 ring, and I also have my common planner in a B7 size. So let's begin first with Hobonichi weeks. So I can already tell you, Hobonichi weeks is definitely going to be sticking around for 2024. I didn't really invest in like a cover or anything because this cover is fairly hard. So, and honestly, it felt sturdy enough, and I try to be as gentle as possible with these planners, but I do love the size. I do love how compact everything is and how much I can actually fit in here. So what has been working really well, I made full use of the monthlies. Are kind of hit and miss. I do end up decorating them and not really spending too much time filling them out. As you can tell, some months are filled out, some months are really not, and the reason for that is because I wasn't entirely clear of what the function of this planner was until I started using it. Initially, we started out with using this for work and only work-related things. Then we kind of shifted into using it for more social media, and then now we kind of shifted it to just family and memory keeping and all of that good stuff. So as you can tell, like it looks totally different for the month of August versus how things looked, let's say, in April. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, as far as the weeks are concerned, I'm really consistent with it. I kind of find like I set up one layout and I kind of stick with that, which seems to be working great. I haven't made full use of the back just yet. I'm starting to. It's really rare that I actually play around with the layout. Maybe I will do that a little bit later. I'm not in an absolute rush. I love using this section for word of the week because it allows me to become a little bit more creative. And here we are this is as of last week, so I haven't actually filled out this week just yet. And then in the back, I do try my best to kind of use this as a common planner, as a common placeholder of pretty much anything and everything that is work related or anything and everything that is like relevant. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it really doesn't. I don't have a million trackers in here because literally I just find that to be way too overwhelming, and I don't end up using it. So that's what's kind of working here. I really like that you have the free pages. I can use them for whatever I want, and when I don't need it, it's just kind of waiting for me there to use. So that's what's kind of working here, and I foresee that continuing onwards as we kind of move towards the remainder of the year. Now let's talk about the VDS. With the VDS planner, I did take a little bit of a break, which I think that sometimes it's okay if you take a little bit of a break from some of these planners. I do absolutely love it. I did find that the moment that I have all of the inserts in here, then that's pretty much all I needed. I didn't really make too many changes, which kind of made it almost boring a little bit, you know what I mean? Because it's like nothing was actually changing, which means that I wasn't interacting with it. And I recently went back to having the cloth and paper sub box. I spent so much time trying to find an alternative, and I just couldn't. So I really enjoy having the variety of different inserts and kind of making changes and adjustments as we go. I thoroughly love and enjoy the monthly layout. It's very clean. I don't have to set it up manually, which is really helpful. These inserts are from cloth and paper. I foresee myself using the same type of thing moving into 2024, unless like another company kind of comes up with something different. I do like the reflection page at the back. So everything just feels very functional to me here. I don't spend too much time decorating it because it just doesn't need it. It's already decorated enough, in my opinion. I do have some loose pages here, like half pages. And then we move into the actual weekly. My weeklies are from Notiq, and I found this to be like probably the most functional weekly layout that I've had in a really long time. It not only gets decorated just like a little bit, but I find that I end up actually utilizing like all of the areas within the page, which is really cool when I remember to fill it out. Here's the current week that we're on. So even though I'm using very minimal decor, it still kind of fulfills the purpose, and it's still very like elegant and lovely to look at. So I foresee myself like continuing on with this. I'm not sure if this will be the weekly that I'm going to go with for next year, but it's definitely one of my favorites so far. And as far as, I also have, again, some loose pages. This is from Maypaper Co. And I do have some undated dailies. Sometimes I use these and they're really helpful. And sometimes I use them as I need them. But because I have access to other dailies, this is not really a priority. I also started using the debt repayment insert here, which is also really cool to just kind of fill out what debts you want to kind of pay off. And where's the page that I started filling out? Yeah, here it is. So I'm planning on kind of continuing on using this for financials. I also love the size. So there's like a lot to be said about this planner, that it's very functional. And I love the idea of being able to switch out inserts as I need them. I did start filling out the self-care insert from Maypaper Co. It's not, I don't see myself using the self-care or like the journaling prompts here because I actually enjoy using my fountain pens for that. And then for that, I would much rather just free write, but I definitely like the inserts and, you know, the prompts and things like that. And then in the back, I just have basically just some grit paper. Again, this one is from Maypaper Co. I found her her inserts to be very functional. So again, we will likely continue that on. And then I also have a couple of these sticker sheets from her that are also really cool, very lovely neutrals that, again, you can't go wrong with. So that's all I'm going to say about that. The only thing that I wish that I could do with this is just kind of make changes each month so that there is kind of a variety going on rather than everything's always the same. So that's more of a personal preference. But other than that, I find this very functional. Now, let's talk about the debate that I'm having here, and this is sort of where things get a little bit sticky. I do have my common planner. This is it's B7 size, and then I also have my Hobonichi Cousin. So my Hobonichi Cousin is currently, let me just zoom out. So this is currently being used as like a journal, like a memory keeping family journal, which on some weeks it's fantastic because the weeklies get filled out. For the most part, I forget to fill this out, and then I kind of feel bad that I didn't fill it out. As you can tell, like I have a ton of like blank pages here. The dailies are fantastic and I'm pretty consistent with it, and each spread looks different, which is also amazing. So for that reason, I absolutely love this. I love that everything is dated and I can kind of go back and I can look back on that specific day to see how things went. So for that reason, and the size works, I love the cover. So this cover is from Galen Leather. Again, love everything about it. On the weeks when I forget, or if I'm away on vacation or something, then so on days when we kind of skip a day it's sort of like, it didn't really work out. So I do feel bad about the days that didn't get filled out. A lot of the times I do end up going back and pre-fill them. So a lot of the times I do backtrack a little bit whenever I remember to, but I also don't make a big deal about it. So I love a lot about this planner. I do find it to be pretty hefty of a book for what it's being used for. And then on the other side of the thing, we have like the little sister, which is like so cute and elegant and knows how to dress well, and things are going great. So here I started this out as this is going to be my primary planner. I started filling out the months. This is sort of where like it holds everything. It's decorated every single month. And I find that I'm not utilizing it, and I'm not in, this is sort of like to me, this is like a hybrid between if you want to bullet journal and you need the freedom to kind of make your own spreads if you want to, as well as having the monthlies and the weeklies kind of built in. And the thing that I love about the cousin is actually the fact that everything is kind of structured. You know where your dailies are, you know where your weeklies are and your monthlies. So, but I also love the size here. So these are my weeklies. You've seen me set this up multiple times. Like there are so many plan with me's on this channel. Like you can just kind of track back. And I love a lot about this, but I don't love this for the functionality that I actually need for my weeklies. So I have a feeling that what's going to change is that I'm going to stick with my weeklies and the functional planning that I need to get done in my VDS or in my cousin, if this will stay. And then this will remain more, this will be used more as a journal. Because on the daily pages, I really love the way the days look when I'm actually utilizing this as a journal. I'm not so sure if I love this for actual dailies, the way that it's being used right now. So I'm not sure I love this part. You know what I mean? I'm not sure I'm in love with how my dailies look, because to me, that's just, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of constantly having to set up my dailies, and maybe that's just something that's in my head. I do love the paper quality. So like I said, like there's a lot that I love about it, but I love it when I can just free write. So I think that if I'm going to stick with this, I might just actually buy like an undated, or I'll buy the dated version for 2024 when Catherine has another release. And then at that point, we will be using this more as a journal rather than as a planner. Which brings me to my next point, what's happening with these two little guys. With these two little guys, honestly, this has become sort of my go-to, not for journaling. My little passport size has become, it has become like my go-to for like brain dumping and things like that. So could these two just survive on their own? Probably. But I have a brand new insert. This one is from Muji. And I'm kind of using this as a commonplace planner where I kind of have it, I created a key, and then anything and everything that I want to dump in here, I can, along with a field notes little booklet that I'm not even twining through. I'm just literally, this is basically a place where I can just write down video ideas, any free-flowing ideas that I have that I kind of wanted to capture. And then this can basically just come with me as almost like I want this to kind of replace like the note section in my phone, essentially. Now, what's happening here? So I did buy the Hobonichi A6, the little Techo. I really love this. And I think that because I really love this, I have a hard time kind of letting this go because I really love using this. I did start using the monthly as like a sticker a day thing, which is really fun. Obviously, we need to get caught up because as soon as we left on vacation, we didn't really do anything with it. And then the remainder of the planner, at the beginning, we kind of started out as like a daily actual planner, as like a functional planner. And then we kind of shifted into more using this as like a multimedia journal. So I started literally using this more for daily journaling on like books I'm reading, any insights that came through, but primarily it's more being used for books and all the books that I'm reading and what's happening with each of them. Again, I haven't really caught up with everything since like July, basically since we were taking vacation. So the planning of that was just so much, but you can tell like in June, it's fairly consistent. And there's minimal decor that goes into it, and it's a lot more about writing and about kind of giving updates on what's happening rather than, and again, like sometimes I'm consistent with it, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I want to kind of track back a little bit, but for the month of May, it's been pretty okay. So I'm not sure if I will keep this going into 2024. I have a feeling that we will let this one go and then just stick with maybe either my passport size or my full regular size traveler's notebook, because I find that this one I kind of like, I can just swap out the inserts as I go, and it's really nice when you can try out different inserts for this. But I also love the idea of being able to go back to that date and kind of figure out like what I was reading, how did that go. But in all fairness, this feels almost redundant by the time I'm going to be using my common planner. Like if I'm going to be using this as a daily journal, I could easily just create extra entries about the books that I'm reading, just as much as like, I don't think that I'm going to need like an extra journal just for that. So for the remainder of the year, I will use this up because I have it, and I really hate purchasing something and not really using it. So it's more of a principle thing than anything else. But realistically speaking, if I'm looking at how to kind of like narrow in my stash and what I would like to really focus on and how much time I have available, I want most of these systems to actually work for me rather than me feeling like this obligatory sense that I have to update everything because I have it. Does that make sense? So I think that this mid-year check-in is a fantastic time to kind of review what is working, like how do I interact with each of these, which pens I'm using, and then is this actually functional or am I just using it because I have it, right? And that's kind of how I feel about the Common Planner. It's so beautiful, but I want to use this more as a journal rather than as a planner. As much as I like it, but I really love the way I can actually get my thoughts and everything and all of the reminders and stuff like that. I can get that caught up in my VDS planner. And to be honest, I actually thought, and I started out the year with using this as my primary planner, not as my common planner. So there's that. I might actually just shift the focus to using this for the remainder of the year as my journal and see how that goes, just to kind of give it a dry run, but it's all to be determined. This is all I have for you. I would love to know, now that we've rambled on for ages, I would love to know, how is your system going? How many planners you have, and how is that kind of going for you? Or did you get a chance to actually check in? Obviously, if you're watching this video, then you're kind of forced to do some self-reflection as well, unfortunately. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. You know what I mean? I do believe that it's very important to kind of do some self-reflection, check in, and really check against what your initial thoughts were of what was working. And if something is not working, rather than writing it off as an utter failure, how about you kind of just look at it like it's an opportunity for you to pivot. You don't have to give up completely, but you should absolutely pivot. And that's the beauty about all of these systems, that we put them in place as sort of like a trial run. And then midway through the year, if something changes, it's totally fine. So that's all I have for you. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. You can show all your love and support by giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, all of that good stuff. And I honestly cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye.